Officials have detained the mother of White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt's nephew amid the Trump administration's ramped-up immigration enforcement efforts. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents took the woman into custody in Revere, Massachusetts this month, the source said. A Department of Homeland Security spokesperson said Bruna Caroline Ferreira is a criminal illegal alien from Brazil who overstayed her tourist visa, which expired in June 1999. Ferreira, who came to the United States with her family as a child, was once arrested on suspicion of battery. The result of the case was not immediately clear, but no charges against Ferreira could be located in Massachusetts' online court records. Ferreira, who the source familiar with the situation said has never lived with Leavitt's nephew, is at the South Louisiana ICE Processing Center amid proceedings to have her removed, the DHS spokesperson said. Under President Donald Trump and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, all individuals unlawfully present in the United States are subject to deportation, the spokesperson said. Earlier, a tense exchange erupted during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing as President Donald Trump's judicial nominee clashed with Senator Mazie Hirono over the legality and enforcement of ICE raids.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome to each of you and to your families. Good morning. I asked the following two initial questions of all nominees to come before any of the committees on which I sit, relevant to the fitness to serve. So I'll ask these questions, and I'd like to ask all of you to respond individually, starting with Mr. Folks, and then we'll just go right down the line. Since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement relating to this kind of conduct?
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
For Mr. Ganji, you recently reposted on your official U.S. Attorney X account a Homeland Security post that compared capturing undocumented immigrants to a Pokemon game using the game's catchphrase, quote, "Gotta catch 'em all." And you reposted this video of ICE officers catching immigrants set to the Pokemon theme song, and you commented, and I'm quoting, "Give their," meaning the Homeland Security, social media guy a raise. It's troubling enough, problematic enough, that all of us are seeing videos of ICE agents masked, no identifying marks or anything, engaging in raids in communities, sowing fear and chaos. And to those individuals who are the subject of these raids, do you think that being portrayed as a game, do you think that's appropriate? Do you think that it's appropriate to repost this kind of a video, knowing that you are going to be sitting as a judge, possibly having some of these people come before you? Do you find it amusing?
Senator, my understanding of that video is that specifically is about ICE's Worst of the Worst initiative. They specifically cite, I think, 8 or 9 individuals in that, one convicted of murder, one convicted of manslaughter, one convicted of unspecified homicide, several child sex...
Actually, I'm asking, we know that the ICE agents are not just going after the worst of the worst. That is what they're supposed to be doing, but we know that there are U.S. citizens who are also being caught up. We know that there is fear in many communities because of these raids, and I'm asking you whether you consider this a source of amusement to the point where you would repost this kind of a video. You can just answer yes or no.
Well, Senator, again, the video, as I understand it, was specifically talking about the Worst of the Worst initiative. And so, having murderers and those that sexually prey on children off the street is a good thing.
This is not, excuse me, this is not an opportunity for you to basically toe the regime's line. Let me go on, because obviously I do not consider it appropriate what the ICE agents are doing, sowing fear and chaos through our communities, to the point where communities are rising up and protesting and doing everything they can to protect members in their community. Do you, Mr. Ganji, agree that the Constitution provides due process rights to all persons, regardless of citizenship status.
Senator, due process applies to everyone.
And as a judge, you would apply due process to everyone, regardless of whether they're U.S. citizens or not.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
I'm sorry, yes, Senator.
thank you. Throughout your career as a prosecutor, last question, you condemned attacks on law enforcement officers, and you even issued a warning in your district saying, "Let it be known, if you lay a hand on an officer, the Southern District of Texas will do whatever it can to put you in federal prison," etc. So you are very much against attack on police officers. Did the rioters on January 6th attack law enforcement officers?
Senator,
No?
I'm sorry?
Yes or no?
Senator, my understanding from news reports is that there was some.
I'm sorry, what?
My understanding
Did
from,
they attack law enforcement officers or not on January 6th?
Senator, my understanding from news reporting is that yes.
And so you also said that people who attack law enforcement officers are attacking the American system of justice. So would you say that the rioters on January 6th, who, by the way, all pardoned by President Trump, were they attacking the American way of justice?
Senator, I can't offer my
Yes or
opinion
no?
as to a matter of public controversy.
Well, I would say that since you say that people who attack police officers are attacking the American system of justice, I would say that January 6th rioters fit that profile or mode. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
One from a criminal defense attorney, one from a public defender, and one from a civil rights attorney. Each represented criminal defendants in cases before Mr. Janji. All three letters praise his competence, ethics, and professionalism as a federal prosecutor. One of the letters described the nominee as, quote, "the human being that we should all strive to become, and the attorney most who practice hope to be," end of quote. All these records have similar sentiments. Without objection, these three records will be placed in the report. Senator Kennedy, and then for who's ever on the Republican side, I've got to go up to finance and I'll be back, so just take your turn, and I think I'll be back before the meeting's over.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ganji, how long did you work for Senator Cruz?
Senator, I worked for Senator Cruz for 3 years.
Okay. Did you work closely with him?
I would say so, Senator, yes.
Okay. Is it true that Senator Cruz can burp the alphabet backwards?
Senator, I've been instructed not to reveal that.
Is it true that growing up, Senator Cruz had an imaginary friend who his parents actually preferred?
Senator, I have no such knowledge.
Okay. What article of the Constitution calls for checks and balances?
Senator, I think checks and balances is inherent in the first three articles of the Constitution, which gives to all of them different powers and responsibilities.
Okay. Mr. Peterson, welcome. Tell me how you amend the U.S. Constitution.
Senator, you amend the U.S. Constitution pursuant to the procedure found in Article 5.
Could you speak into that mic, please, sir?
Sorry, Senator. The Constitution's amendment pursuant to the procedure in Article 5, and that is a two-thirds vote of both the House and the Senate, and then ratification by 3/4 of the states. There's also a constitutional convention method, but that's never been used.
Okay. Mr. Fowles, how are you?
I'm doing well.
What's the warrant requirement?
The warrant requirement states that any person who is going to be arrested should have a warrant. The police should seek a warrant for that person to arrest them. There are exceptions to the warrant requirement, including exigent circumstances, which are usually followed up in Arkansas with a probable cause complaint and an affidavit and warrant in support of that.
What about to search someone? Do you have to have a warrant?
Yes, that is.
Let me amend that. Does the warrant requirement apply to search and seizure?
Yes, according to the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution, there shall be no unreasonable searches and seizures without a warrant. There are obviously exceptions to that as well, including the Carol Ross Doctrine for movable objects, exigent circumstances when time simply doesn't permit to be able to seek a warrant from a magistrate or a judge. But yes.
Could Arkansas decide that it doesn't want to follow the federal rule, that it wants to require a warrant for all arrests and all searches and seizures with no exceptions?
They certainly could, Senator. However, as a prosecutor for many years, I understand that those exemptions to the warrant requirement are important for public safety and for law enforcement safety.
How could Arkansas do that?
Arkansas could pass a law with the state legislature to say that a warrant is required for every arrest that's made throughout the state of Arkansas. And obviously, that would be subject to challenges in both state and federal court.
And if Arkansas did that, why doesn't the supremacy clause overrule Arkansas?
It certainly would be an argument if that was challenged in federal court.
Well, who would win?
I'm not sure, without knowing more facts about how the statute was drafted and being able to examine exactly, the type of legislative interpretation that goes along with that. So without more facts,
Let me give you these facts. You recited correctly the warrant requirement and the exceptions both for arrest and search and seizure. Suppose the Arkansas legislature said, we appreciate the advice, but we're not going to follow it. We're going to require a warrant for both arrests and for searches and seizures, okay? And somebody challenged that under the supremacy clause. Who would win?
I'm not sure that I've ever thought about that in depth, Senator, but I think it would be a strong challenge to that state law, and I think it would be.
What if Arkansas construed its state constitution to require a warrant for both arrest and search and seizure?
I think it would be the same analysis, whether it was a law that was passed by the state legislature or an amendment to the Constitution.
Why couldn't Arkansas? Have you ever heard of the adequate and independent state ground doctrine?
Yes, Senator.
Why wouldn't the adequate and independent state ground doctrine apply there?
That certainly would be an argument that one of the parties could make in support of that Arkansas state law. And again, I think it would go back to legislative analysis and determining all the factors that go into that as to whether that law would withstand the scrutiny from the court.
Okay, thank you.